When I was 12, we all went to a Kannada municipal school. It was a most elegant school, not the kind of municipal schools we have today. Don't forget that the Maharaja of Mysore himself took a special interest in the school. All the teachers, with rare exceptions, were excellent. All our younger days were completely wrapped up in the experiences we had at school, the teachers, having to pass an examination. Every child dreads the presence of a teacher, but I had a particularly nasty one. Being an arithmetic teacher, I don't think he had any sense of compassion, pity. He was only committed to his arithmetic. Somebody has 3 mangoes, someone has 4, together how much? This simple thing we couldn't get the hang of. We could have, but he was such a formidable character that we felt that even if we'd got the right answer, we'd be beaten anyway. So we mumbled, and he twisted our ears and shouted. He was the target of my caricature. One day he'd written the usual sum on the blackboard. Ram has 3 mangoes, Krishna has 4. It was a simple sum, but quite beyond me. I thought he'd not ask me, so I sat hiding behind the others, who, like me, were all short little boys. I started sketching. It looked very much like a tiger, a man with bristling moustache, teeth, and all that developed as the questions went on. He was in the first row, I was in the last. I got involved in the caricature. Suddenly I felt a piercing pain in my left ear. I turned. This monster was twisting my ear for having drawn him. He said, "So you have drawn me?" I said, "No, sir, I did not draw you." But he could recognize it through all that likens to a tiger, that it was he. Of course, I was punished. That was the time I realized the art of caricature. I saw,
My God! Indeed, he does look like a tiger.
My attempt was not to draw a tiger, but I drew the face of a tiger subconsciously as an extension of the man's personality. To me, he was a tiger. From then on, it almost became a hobby for me to liken human figures to inanimate objects or animals. You might ask, what is it that relates things or creatures to personality? I used to stand and watch the city bus. It always looked like someone I knew. People spilling out of the bus began to take the shape of a giraffe or a monkey or a Cadillac belonging to one of the Maharajas of Mysore, which used to stand in the porch next door. To me, it looked like a prince. There is a personality that gets rubbed off onto inanimate objects. Even today, I feel that I got nothing out of the 2 + 4 - 1, but I gained something invaluable that day in the classroom. I'll tell you of another incident that is connected with the art of caricature. The art I have chosen is one which rubs everyone on the wrong side. From the Prime Minister to the policeman, from the President to the priest, they are all ridiculed. That is my profession. So long as it's about others, people like it. It was my sister's wedding, a very big affair. In the South, the one who is very important at the time of the wedding is the cook. He was treated like a prince because the entire reputation of the wedding depended on this man's cooking. So that day, when he came, there was a general cry,
He's come! He's come!
People who never stood up for anyone also stood up. How to entertain him? To offer coffee to him is just not done, because he's the one who makes excellent coffee. Discussions began. Everyone hung upon his words. "What do you want?" he asked.
We don't have to tell you what we want. You know best.
That pleased him. After an hour he said, "I want this much rice, this much ghee, this much." While all this was happening, I was in a corner of the room sketching as usual, because I was a compulsive sketcher right from the age of 3. While I was sketching, I was listening to the conversation. It seemed like they were ordering enormous quantities of food, but in those days everything was so cheap. Discussions ended. He was about to go when someone said,
You can't leave without coffee. Of course, it won't be good, but we'll be highly honored.
So he sat on. Everybody was relaxed. To get the man himself was difficult, but to get the man to sit down and have coffee. At that time, one of my cousins saw my caricature and began to giggle. The laughter spread like wildfire. Everyone wanted to have a look at the sketch. The group started moving towards me behind the pillar. The man found that his circle had diminished. What is it?" he asked good-humouredly. Everybody thought it was a good likeness, but he took one look and fell grimly silent. "I'm not going to cook for this marriage," he said, and began to make his way out. Members of the family, senior ICS officers, and others in high government posts ran after him. "You have called me here to insult me?" he said. "I have cooked for the Maharaja. I have cooked for the Supreme Court judges. I have cooked for... but never have I been insulted like this. Goodbye. Thank you." And he stormed out. Then a very clever uncle was called upon to woo him back. How he did it is another story. You might think I was roundly scolded for this major catastrophe. I wasn't. My family always supported me. I don't know why. As an enlightened family, my parents neither encouraged me nor discouraged me. Mercifully, they left me alone. These same parents left me with a piece of chalk at the age of 3. This changed to a pencil at the age of 6 or 7. Then came color pencils and paint boxes. I am grateful to them, and they were very proud of me as I progressed from class to class.